The list that she had given you on September 4, you mentioned that you gave this to the ICI as well. The ICI had no such list, that it had to
I
come
showed,
from you?
I showed it to them on November 18, and they went to office in Congress on November 19, and the Ombudsman's field investigation team also came to my office on November 26, and they said it was the first time that they saw this list, because as I think I also mentioned before, the ICI's team visited the DPWH central office in early September and said that her office was cordoned off and they were not given any of the internal files from her computers. And then when they eventually came to her office after the ICI was formed in later September, the computers that had these files were no longer there.
Kong, can we clarify? Because the last time we spoke to you, we asked you if she indeed gave you a copy of all the files. Can you confirm that you have a copy of all the files with the proponents in them? That is only part of her personal documentation. And do you have a complete list? The last time you were saying that you wanted authorities to get a hold of the computers. But do you have in your possession a copy, and did you just show it to the ICI, or did you share another copy with them?
Yes, I have the list of the proponents in the DPWH budget, and I was focusing on Congressman Garjola because that was the subject of our general discussion. But of course, out of the entire budget, there are many other proponents than just Congressman Garjola. I want to explain that there's the allocable and non-allocable. And the allocable is 401 billion pesos in the past two budgets. And this was also a system that was invented by no less than former Undersecretary Cabral. And the non-allocable outside of this 401 billion pesos are projects that cannot immediately be identifiably from a proponent, if not for the internal files of the DPWH. And that's, I think, why it's important that the information of former Undersecretary Cabral be released, because there's so much public fascination on who are the proponents of DPWH projects. And here is a document from a government agency that evidences that basically outside of the first 401 billion pesos in the DPWH budget, there are other people that are picking projects that are parked into congressmen's districts.
She acknowledged to you that she designed the allocable program?
Yes, that is a non-public information because she had said so in congressional hearing, and she gave me a printout with an explanation for how what she called the EBBM formula worked. But the explanation was more of a narrative of factors, but not an equation. And because there are small districts that have big budgets compared to big districts that have small budgets, I think we can safely say there's not really a strict formula for the budgets. But they actually created this system of allocable so as to distinguish the non-allocable. The non-allocable being the projects that include the so-called leadership fund, that their files can tell you who decided what projects are in the leadership fund.
So do you have also the files on the non-allocable funds?
Yes.
Do you have, apart from you, who else has a hard or soft copy of these files?
I'm sure the DPWH does.
Okay. What about the ICI? Where you just show them? You said earlier, I showed them a copy, but you did not say I shared with them a copy or gave them a copy. So I'm assuming you just showed it to them, but did not actually give them a whole set of copies?
Yes, I showed it to them at their office, and then they came to my office, and then their team went through it in further detail because they wanted to know who are the proponents of the 421 or so ghost projects that they have been focusing their field inspections on. And they didn't ask for a copy, and they didn't come back to ask for information about it.
The question is, why was she so willing to disclose this to you? Why was she
Because
open?
I persistently ask for it. And I first came to her office in June when I was newly elected to understand why districts like mine have smaller allocable budgets than smaller districts. And to me, it's a very important question and not simply something that we should accept, that there are billions of pesos being given to places with smaller populations.
Was this
But
before the SONA of the president?
it was in June. So it's something that I took interest in from a general policy perspective, but also one that affects my district and every congressman's district, because I think people just are shy to ask why this is the budget, but it's I think, very needing to be asked question, who decides that one district gets 5 billion and one district gets 1 billion pesos a year?